Conservation Commission will hold this meeting in person with the option for virtual attendance. In-person attendance will be at the meeting location that I just listed. Please join my meeting from your computer, tablet, or smartphone at https://meet.goto.com/town-of-Sturbridge/Conservation Commission. You can also dial in using your phone at 1-846-749-3122. Access code is 819-169-093. All right, we will call to order.
Eric Gaspar, present.
Ray Bishop, present.
San Germano present.
Dotson Stuba, present.
And Ed Goodwin present. We have a full quorum. With that, and go right to, we don't have any announcements or anything, so Jenny, you can come up. We'll start at 274 Big Allen Road, continued notice of intent, repair of an historic boat notch, DEP file number 300-1186.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I will be recusing myself from any discussion around this item, not because I have any bias towards this, but out of the abundance of caution, because a reasonable person could infer bias depending on whatever I vote based on the applicant calling me a sexist and an ageist and inferring things about my weight at the last public meeting. I feel like out of an abundance of caution, I want to not put the council or the commission in any type of harm's way.
May I respond to that?
Sure, go ahead.
I wasn't at the last meeting, and I've never said anything like that. If we could just pull up the last meeting and
It wasn't
be
the
sure
last meeting, it was the last meeting you were at. You read a letter, you said, I want to address the elephant in the room, and you referred to talking to your granddaughter and said that I was an ageist and a sexist. So, out of an abundance of caution, I am not going to put myself in a position to have an ethics query, and I'm also not going to put the commission in a position to have that questioned.
All right. Moving forward. Jenny, you want to start off?
Lauren, did you want to start, or do you want me to?
I mean, if you just want to summarize the project one more time.
Okay, yes.
Now, I'm going to ask a quick question. Are we all eligible to vote on this?
No. Laura's not.
Laura's not, so we have three. So we have only three. All right, just to make everybody aware.
Okay, so just as a recap, this is a 390 square foot of a greater than 8 million square foot resource area, which contains a debris field of collapsed man-made structure, partially covered with an organic mat akin to a rug, floating on top during high water season. Ecotech confirmed this content and the measurements submitted by Ground Effects for this project, as requested by the Commission in May of 2024. His report was dated June 3rd, 2004, and appeared in packets on October 3rd, which was continued because I had COVID. And also, his report was, again, highlighted in emails between he and the conservation agent on September 27th. Ecotech President Paul McManus provided his professional opinion that this project does not trigger either a wildlife habitat evaluation or 401 water quality certification, but in fact represents an enhancement. In his September 27, 2024 email, he opined that the work satisfies the regulatory performance standards for the resource areas where work is proposed. Bank and land underwater bodies and waterways at 310 CMR 10:54 and 10:56, and is consistent with the requirement that there be no significant impact to stability, water carrying capacity, water quality, fisheries habitat, important wildlife habitat functions. That's the end of the quote. Mr. McManus also offered his recommendation regarding closing off the bottom and sides of the notch opening during the proposed work. I was able to sit down, Lauren and I sat down, went over how we can move forward on this, and I was able to see her staff recommendations, which I have responded to. I don't know if you want me to do that now or where you'd like to go.
I'll recap on some of my major comments from the detailed agenda, being the clear path that demonstrates the amount of total BVW. This is the plan that's received. So my comment is also regarding kind of the dimension showing, the 3-dimension showing the depth down, so that way the commission has a better image of downwards of how much material is actually going to be coming out. I think that would give some better perspective. And you did provide me with additional information and a recap on some of these calculations, so I'm reviewing that. You did provide me with a construction sequence, which includes erosion controls to be placed at 20 feet on all sides, consisting of a silt fence and a boom in all conservation conditions prior to the start of any activity. Work will occur at the drawdown when the area is dry, with the exception of the organic mat. Construction sequence to follow would be installing the erosion controls, removal of the mat or sediment that's in there, removal of the stone, and resetting the walls. And then cleanup of the surrounding area to stabilize beyond the wall to prevent future erosion, ground runoff, grading away from the lake, replanting. Regarding my question of equipment being used, there's a natural pathway to the boat notch that will be used from the right of way. A track skid steer will be used to remove debris off site into the truck into the right of way. And stone will be stockpiled on a swale. Regarding the ongoing maintenance plan, it will receive the same care as the rest of the shoreline during the drawdown. Any damage to the walls will result in a new request to the commission for repair. There was something else that I wrote on. And then also outlined in the detailed agenda are the performance standards for your reference, just for a quick reference as far for disturbance on bank. Previously, I had discussed on how bank was being interpreted as to whether that they were considering all 3 sides of the notch to be bank or just the area where the boat passes in. And then regarding DEP waterways access that is to be required for any permanent structure or waterway access through DEP would occur along the front of the wall, not in the boat notch. That was something I confirmed with waterways, as far as what is required for that passage.
You just passed this picture there.
Absolutely.
So what is it, what's the depth of the notch? It says 1 foot.
I think Mr. McManus had that in his calculations. He came out and field surveyed everything, did his soil auger. That should be in the report.
What report is it in?
June 3rd. It was lost, apparently. It's the report that I gave Lauren a copy of, and then she confirmed the information.
The dredging, 1 foot, it says.
1 foot in depth.
Yeah, the dredging is 1 foot in depth,
So,
Yeah.
is what it says here.
so can I have a question? Good, can I? So my-
Yeah, how do we, are you set? Did you complete what you?
I just received this today, so I'm going over all this to go back to my other comments.
You haven't seen that either, right?
Correct. This is what was just provided, yes.
So what's,
Okay.
I apologize, this is on our file, our system crashed and everything has not been restored, but based off the comments that were on the Ecotech report dated June 3rd, the actual boat notch size is 14, it says 14 inches, but I think he means 14 feet. 14 feet wide by 28 feet long, totaling 392 square feet. And the debris to be removed is actually 14 feet wide and 22 feet long at 308 square feet. And the total depth of the water from the high water mark to the lake bottom is 2 feet.
2 feet.
That's the depth of the water, not all the debris.
Yep, so debris calculations to be removed are as followed: 308 square feet, which is the total surface area of the boat notch debris filled, divided by 27, the cubic feet at 1 inch thick, equals 11.4 cubic yards.
So at one point, we were wondering whether this boat notch's grandfather's in, right? I mean,
At this
because,
point, the grandfathered status is essentially irrelevant. It's just, but it does not qualify as ecological restoration per DEP, so we're just gonna be looking at this as dredging.
okay, but here's my question. So if you have the, what do you call it, the water line, the bank, where's the bank, so to speak? Because, and that relates to the grandfather in, right? So, because when we went there, there were a lot of rocks, and then there was the pond, and so you might want to say that the pond starts or ends wherever the water is. And the rest is actually the 25 zone, no disturbance, right? So the question is,
Where does the 25-foot begin?
yeah, and so.
Is this in the 25-foot, or is this?
Because you might want to say, look, okay, the way I look at it, this is all rock. Oh, this is indented, but here's the shoreline, right? So this is the shoreline. So the question is, what is the shoreline and where's the shoreline? If the shoreline is here, then this is the 25 zone, no disturbance. And then we are asked to completely disturb that zone. So the question of grandfathering is, I think, an important one. And so how do we solve, it seems DEP doesn't care about it, nobody cares about it, it's all restoration, but that means that we
But it's
grandfather.
not restoration.
of-
It is not categorized as restoration. So this is your 25. So I went back and looked at the previous project that was done for the dock to calculate what the total bank disturbance would be, but it's trying to figure out if,
But the dock is completely different because the dock is not permanent, right? The
no,
dock-
there's a cantilever dock on the property too, so to
Right,
see
but-
all cumulative disturbance on the site.
Right, but I mean, in terms of a dock, you just put a weight in and then you fill it up again, and here you just change the shoreline. So this is actually changing the shoreline, and this, I mean, the question is whether that's allowed. I mean, so
So it does require a Chapter 91 filing
and does it
to
require,
do the
does
dredging activity.
it require our waiver too?
Does it require, sorry,
A waiver,
it does require a waiver, correct,
so,
for disturbance within.
no. But did we ever allow just digging a hole that leads directly into the pond? It seems to be a very different project than putting in a cantilever deck. I mean, right? I mean,
Don't look at me.
I'm just wondering, I mean,
We've never allowed the dredging of the pond for a boat dock or whatever.
Yeah, I would assume any ones that are on any of the lakes are old, probably predate Conservation Act.
right, so,
Yeah.
but it doesn't seem as if there's is a kind of dock here, or notch, or,
Can I share something?
Yeah, we're good.
This is just another perspective, but.
Have anything else?
so, do we have answers? I mean, when we
I
have.
do not have an answer to your question, no. It's something that I've been trying to wrap my head around as well. Of trying to figure out exactly where we're currently defining the boundaries. The conversations that I've had with Waterways and with DEP say that it would be ecological restoration if this had, collapsed in and fell in. It does not meet that criteria. It meets as dredging, so this is a new activity. If that adds some clarification.
So no grandfathering in,
No grandfathering.
because we wouldn't allow building new houses in that zone, unless it's a grandfather.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Roy, anything?
Do we have to wait for the Chapter 91 license to be,
We do not. And in my conversation with DEP or with Waterways, they had spoken with the applicant as well, and there was the incorrect form that was used for that process, but they will not even act on anything until they have either approval or denial from the Conservation Commission. So Chapter 91 acts after you do. So you have first say, essentially.
do you have someone in mind to do the work?
Yes, Mark Levine, Ground Effects. It was his original calculations that we went to Ecotech to have them verify and confirm.
Does he have a sequence for you?
I think Aaron just read it. Do you want me to say it?
No, I'll take a look at it. Thank you.
Laura?
Carsten, I just wanted to follow up on your question. So what you were meaning is if
We
this
can't
is
let you give Carson time.
if this is a dredging of a lake or creating a new shoreline, because the shoreline is already, because of the time pass, and if there will be differences, I don't know, will there be any differences in the regulations if it's dredging inside the lake? So if we consider the
It would be
shoreline
different
being,
if it was a project that was done after the Wetland Protection Act, because it meets, there would have been requirements in place, there would have been permitting, and this is clearly something that has occurred over time. We don't have a clear definition. It's not like someone came in and filled it all and then intentionally and then asked filled out. So we haven't been able to get some crystal clear advice as far as what this is actually going to be categorized under, other than a dredging activity that's occurring along the bank.
if I can ask what use is going to be given to this?
It would be for boat storage, swimming, fishing.
And then I assume you would have to cut all the trees around that area?
No, not a single tree.
But how do you access it?
Right through the 14 feet in the front.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I've been there.
Laura, you all set?
Yeah.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Lauren, I'm not 100% sure, but you talked about the Chapter 91 being incorrect, which is certainly possible, because I was
The form was correct, right? Yeah.
incorrect.
I was told by Waterways that the form that you had submitted was the wrong form to use.
Okay.
They are aware of the project. They are waiting on us, but then they'll
Right.
communicate with
Okay.
you to get
And
the
we
right
were
people
and I
filed.
think I filed as a restoration project.
Yes.
Because my conversation with that Chrissy Hops, DEP, this indeed was a collapsed structure. Everything you're looking at there is a collapsed structure. And I don't know if you saw the picture of the original structure. Okay, that's all stone, and that's what collapsed. And that's what we're taking out, is the original structure. And then just repairing the pre-1923 walls. That's it. So it is a debris field of man-made material. So I understand what your dilemma is,
Yeah.
but to me, it's clear. I mean, it's concrete, it's rocks that my
So-
grandparents
yeah.
put there.
So we're confirming that it's the size, and it's 2 feet deep. That was one of my questions. That's pretty shallow for boats.
We don't have a deep boat, we have sailboats, we have canoes, we have kayaks.
So that, yeah, all right. So that answers that question. Capacity of the bank to, performance standards for bank in 10.54. Capacity of the bank to provide breeding habitat, escape cover, and food for fisheries. Now that, if you look at that, go back to the picture. That fits that need. I mean, it looks like a mess, but
It is a mess. And the dock that you've referred to, I never think of as a dock, I think of it as a bridge. So when you referred to, is that dock staying? No, that dock is not staying.
no.
That raft that's stored on top of it does not,
Oh, I
would
didn't-
not stay.
I didn't refer to that dock.
No, but I think, I was confused by it at some point.
Yeah.
But that does not stay. I made a picnic table out of one dock like that, and I'll do the same with that.
Well, that was put there recently, right? That was like
Yes.
last year.
Yeah, no, a few years ago. When we got the permanent dock. Then the temporary docks, that's what I did with them.
What about, talk about replacement area? Have you considered that, or is that not something that you,
Could you explain that to me, Ed, what you mean by replacement
well, in
area?
other words, if you're dredging that area, which is what you're proposing, are there going to be wetland replacements?
That would be the wetland replacement. It would be wide open waterway for free flow of fish and everything.
Okay.
That's why I ended up calling it a restoration when I applied to DEP.
So, all right, so I guess we're down to staff recommendations. We need a clear plan. We've made a lot of progress. I haven't seen the new information. Is there a construction sequence there?
There is a construction sequence in here, yes.
Yeah, don't get up.
Erosion controls installed, removal of the mat, the debris, removal of the stone, resetting the walls, cleaning up surrounding areas, stabilizing beyond the wall to prevent future erosion, ground runoff, grading away from the lake, and replant disturbed lawn. And then it's noted that if the wall needs further repair, that would be a separate filing.
So we're gonna dredge it out and then find out if we need to do further wall replacement at that time?
I think my comment was, in the future, if the walls failed, obviously any stones that have fallen in, we would reset immediately,
Yeah.
so that we didn't have any wall failure.
Okay, that's it,
And in that, I would think that the area to be most possibly concerned of is this top area here, where it's pretty much level with the existing ground. We can see the condition of the wall partially, so we would be able to see if there's any
Yeah,
areas where sediment is seeping through. But obviously that back half is pretty much the only area where we won't be able to know that until things have been removed.
And Paul McManus did put his bore through there, and he hit water. So we know the water is totally up to the
oh,
back.
yeah, that wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Is any water coming from up the hill?
From up the hill?
Yeah. Down
I
in
would
that
think
area?
so, yeah, because it goes like this, it's pitch.
Is everywhere else in that area?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
I've never seen a river, Ed, per se.
No, I would,
I mean, you know, a stream, my play yard, the whole yard gets real wet. There are springs actually that I could dig for you at any moment in the yard.
can you go back to that first picture? The one you just had. These appear to be, these been filled in lately? I mean, not
No.
lately, but I mean,
No,
lately in your lifetime.
not to my knowledge, no. I mean, in my lifetime, it was still standing, Ed. I mean, I was young, but the stone walls were still there. I have pictures of my brother from which I can tell how old I was.
Yeah,
So I know they were still standing in the it was still standing in the 1950s.
all right. Any other questions?
Do we have a sense, I mean, just aesthetically repairing that is goodness, but do we have a sense environmentally? It seems to me that dredging it, restoring it would be beneficial environmentally, but I'm not that smart. But do we have a third party that we could consult just to give us a sense of, from an environmental perspective, dredging that, repairing the walls is goodness?
Other than consulting DEP and waterways and conservation forums of other towns, that's kind of the extent. To get an opinion on this project specifically, we would have to contract a third-party review, which is typically done at the applicant's expense, so the applicant has to agree to doing a third-party review and having everything kind of looked at. That's your discretion if that's the route you want to go to.
Carson, you got any further on this?
Probably would be good to get a
Third party review?
unless we want to vote.
What?
Unless we want to vote already.
Well, I think we need a continuation just because we just got information. We need to disseminate it.
In my opinion, I think having a plan that shows that front view showing the depth going down would be beneficial to you all.
Yeah.
And now that we have outlined what would be used for erosion control, showing the erosion controls on the plan, I would recommend, even though it's going to be done during the lake drawdown, I would recommend a hydraulic boom, just in the off chance that something happens with the machinery while it's down there, and preventing
Yep.
spreads of oils throughout what is a very healthy lake.
Is the shoreline currently all like a wall?
It is all stone. Stone and block further down, and then back to stone.
Yeah, I don't think I have any block, right? It's all stone, just natural stone. It's a glacier lake, so that's where they were left, and that's where they are.
But it's not natural stone. It's like built like a wall.
No,
Yeah.
I take that back. The swimming area, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because sometimes the rocks, when you have like big boulders, like in between those rocks, it creates some habitat and like protection for fish, sometimes to breed.
Yeah, I have a little snake and some frogs in the, yeah.
Exactly. So having that if like this is going to be like a straight wall down with nothing at the bottom, maybe creating some habitat for.
Like a drywall, as opposed to a concrete.
Yeah, I mean, like, even if it's not in this area, like around the shore, having like big boulders underwater to create habitat for fish to breed.
Well, I think we can say with the current condition, it definitely provides habitat, so it would be weighing out as the habitat that exists now, are we taking away habitat, and can that be restored somehow?
Exactly. In
I
the
think
shore.
that would depend on the plan. If we're talking about mortar and cement, the answer would quickly be yes. We've taken away habitat. If we're talking about use of the cut stones and stones that they have there, it could be a wash. I would think that it would be a wash. Cleanliness is not next to godliness on a lake.
I agree with that,
Yeah. But,
obviously.
yeah, but I guess I don't want to say any more than that. That's where I'm at on it. If we could get a continuation and get a little bit more details in the plan and take a look at those, then we, get to a point where we can resolve this.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's too bad that the June 3rd report never made it to you folks from Paul McManus, because I acted on it immediately when you asked for it in May.
No, I hear you. This is, sometimes they go poorly, and this has gone poorly, so.
I
Just to
appreciate it.
confirm, do you want to get estimates on a third-party review, or wait till we get back a more detailed plan showing the erosion controls and the dimensions of the project?
I don't know.
We can wait. From my perspective.
Thanks, Al.
Is somebody on here? I would like to wait because, depending on the quality of the plan that we're going to execute, that's what we'll be looking at.
And that would be the final plan used for decision.
Yeah.
And also essentially kind of set precedent, so if another caved-in boat notch, if someone comes back and wants to do the similar project, the wall does exist, so it's not that the wall is new. So it's not completely dredging something out and building a wall that never existed.
So
That's
here,
not
right, so-
necessarily using the term grandfathered, but it's just, there is an existing wall, even though we're unsure of the complete condition.
so there was a boathouse too, right?
Yes,
The
that's
boathouse
what
went
fell
over,
in.
yes.
Are we agreeing that the boathouse is not grandfathered in?
There's no grandfathering here.
Okay, no, but if the next stage would be, oh, I would like to build a boathouse, then, I mean, so at one point we
We
have
have
to.
a 25-foot no new build.
Right, but so the question so the question, would the boathouse be grandfathered in? Because it seems to be
No,
ultimately,
it would not be.
because
The reason
ultimately,
this is different, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, is because we allow, during drawdown, we allow the repointing of stone walls along the lake. And that, in my opinion, would fall. This would fall into that category. I don't, it's minor. That's just my personal opinion,
but you dig up quite a bit.
If the next step of this project would be constructing a new boathouse over the notch, my opinion would be that this is not considered grandfathered. So it would be, you're looking at this from fresh eyes, so it would be allowing a new structure within the 50 and disturbance within the 25. I would say what sets this apart, not necessarily that there was a boathouse there, but that the retaining wall is there.
right.
If someone came to us tomorrow and said, I want to dredge out my yard, build a retaining wall, and then a house over that, there's nothing that would even exist to signify that.
Anything else from anybody on the board here? Ginny, would you like a continuation to the next meeting?
Sounds good, and I'll get a plan for you
All right.
prior to that.
Yeah, great. And at this point, we will not ask for peer review. We'll see the plan, we'll take a look at that in comparison with what we have. Go from there. All in
If the
favor?
plan can include some habitat.
Make a motion.
What?
Would you like me to make a motion?
Yeah, please, yeah.
With regards to the project at 274 Big Alum Road, DEP file number 300-1186, I make a motion to continue the public hearing until our next meeting on November 14th.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor,
If you're in favor.
Sherman abstains.
and Flo vote?
Abstains.
Oh,
Yeah, you abstained. So 3, 4, so we'll see you at the next meeting.
All righty. Thank you.
If you have any difficulties getting any of the materials before that 7-day deadline, just let me know if we have to.
So there is a
push this.
7-day deadline on,
New materials have to be provided
Okay.
7 days prior to the hearing, so that way we have time to review them all.
gotcha. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we are now at 1 Old Village Road.
There's two projects listed as, there's two projects there that are listed as continuous. The first one, I think, is just being continued.
Yeah, continue the public hearing for the notice of intent, vegetation management at the Mill Pond and Quinnebog River Reservoir, DEP file number 300-1205. So that is being continued.
No, we have someone on remotely. They're just logging on, so to give them a second.
Hey there.
Hello.
Hey, Carl.
Hi.
And he's at the pond.
It took me a while to get the audio to actually work, so I kept having to sign in and out. I'm sorry about that. So are we starting the Old Sturbridge Village application at this point?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't tell where we were in the agenda because I couldn't hear anything.
Can you hear now?
So, yes, I can. And I went through the agenda details that were provided. There's quite a nice list of to-do items that looks like that you would need TRC to provide the commission before you can make a decision.
Correct.
Right.
And I hadn't seen these until today, so I'm hoping that we can continue the meeting and provide those to you between now and the next hearing.
Good. I think that's what we were looking toward. I don't think,
Okay,
in fact, that's what it says here.
that makes this meeting pretty short.
Yeah. So that's what you're asking for as a continuation?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And I'll talk to Lauren and go through some of the items and provide them in writing as needed.
And I think we don't want to use glyphosate.
Yes, I was going to ask that, like to be sure not to use glyphosates, glyphosates, I don't know how you.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
Please, I'll repeat. To be sure, I think in the documentation you're not using glyphosates,
Glyphosate or whatever.
Roundup, basically.
Carl, are you recommending glyphosate as one of the treatment options?
Yeah, no, I don't believe we're using glyphosate.
Okay,
I think it's Dyke.
Yeah,
excellent.
great, thank you.
Yep.
Just since we have the applicant here, that bullet point around the use of the mill pond and how it's utilized, can we clear this bullet point now, just so we don't have to have that outstanding?
Would you mind, the question in the past has been of this pond where the treatment is being proposed, what is its function? And if you wouldn't mind, sorry, name and
Oh,
address
I'm
for the
sorry.
record.
Yeah, that's okay. Bill Gaudet, I'm Director of Facilities at Old Sturbridge Village. The mill pond, there's no fishing or anything like that on it. Possibly 4 or 5 years from now, we'd like to bring the boats back, because I guess years ago, before I started working there, they had boats on it, just to give people an idea of what it was like in that period of time, being on a boat in that era. It's not happening right now. It hasn't happened in quite a while now, so the boats are sitting, but there is no fishing, there's no recreation, there's no kayaking, there's no nothing on those ponds.
Okay.
Ponds are just there to operate the mills, pretty much.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing. Do you want just one meeting, Carl, until the 14th of November?
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we
14th
won't have any trouble.
Good.
Yeah, we can pull that together.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
And Sherman in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll just stay there.
All right, we are now on to 1 Old Sturbridge Village Road, notice of intent to raise and rebuild of the horse barn, associated work, including tree removal, DEP file number 300-1211. All right. You're on, Mr. Gaudet. Introduce yourselves then.
Go ahead, Don. Oh, I'm sorry. Bill Gaudet, Director of Facilities at Old Sturbridge Village.
I'm Don Frederick from Sherman and Frederick Lane Surveying and Engineering. Based at the, excuse me, on the last hearing, which was 2 hearings ago, we did not have DEP comments. We have received DEP comments, and we prepared a package and submitted it via email on Tuesday, and then hard copies yesterday. So I'd like to go through that, if that's okay.
Okay.
So the first comment, they asked about cumulative rivers area disturbances for projects that have happened previously and currently within the Old Sturbridge Village property, with the assistance of the Conservation Commission staff and the DEP NOI listings on their website. We put together past and current projects, which includes probably about 10 projects. Some of them closed, some of them open. The aquatic plant management, which you just talked about, is actively being reviewed. There's one other project on the Old Sturbridge Village property, which was permitted in June of last year for some tree removal, which they have done, and is still active. They plan to do some plantings to finish that up in the spring. So that will be, in all likelihood, closed out next year. There are 2 projects that were permitted through the town of Sturbridge, one for dam removal, and another one, I believe it was for culvert repairs. We don't have a status on that, although it was on the Old Sturbridge Village property. They weren't the applicants for those projects.
No, we were not the applicants for that. The town actually, the highway department actually took out the paperwork for that. The dam removal and the culvert was, I believe, well, from what I was told and what I could find in my records, is it was on the connector road, and not all of it was completed because funding ran out. But it has nothing to do with us. It was just, it's on our property, but we didn't pull anything, we didn't do anything at all, as far as that goes. So that's something that the town would have to answer for. I do have files on it, it's about that thick. So I can provide whatever you need, but I don't know what else you need, because I wasn't involved at the time, but the past director I talked to, Brad, he gave me all that info, and his info was 3/4 of it was done, and then when they got towards the end, they ran out of money. They ran out of grant money, so that's why they stopped. But it has nothing to do with us, besides it's on our property. But it's.
Well, it was a committed plan on your property.
And I think the question...
It was a committed plan that they were going to execute.
Okay.
And the part that you're talking about is the key to the whole damn project. I mean dam project. Because it does not allow migrating fish
To go upstream,
to upstream.
yes.
And all the baloney that the state gave us was about how they were gonna make it so that all these different species could come back. So, Doesn't, I'm just venting.
No, you have every right to vent, but I don't really know too much about the project, because it's before my time. I was just,
No, I understand.
I mean,
No, I- I know the players.
okay.
But if you do have that, I would like to get that file to her.
I can, yeah, it's quite big. I mean, I'll,
We have a copy of the file. For the
So
dam removal?
If I come in, you can show me the agreed upon plan
For the dam removal?
for the dam removal and for the culvert that he's talking, which was to go under the road.
We're required by law to hold on to them.
I know we are. You know, and I've never not been able to find one when I've asked for it.
whatever she doesn't have,
You
I
give
can
us
always
I
provide.
just request you give us a heads up in case we have to do some digging.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'd like to get that. I'd like to pull that plan out.
Sounds like you got a backup plan though, Ed.
What?
You got a backup plan in case.
Well, that was what I was saying. I was
Yeah.
gonna save her the time, and she's saying she has it.
Yeah.
So basically, the reason for that tabulation was the cumulative rivers area disturbance
Yeah.
that DEP asked for. So summarizing everything that's on that list, whether ongoing or current projects, there was proposed 152, just over 152,000 square feet of river area disturbance. We had originally estimated and got into some more detail as estimating the rivers area on the project, which comes up to about 78 acres. So it's obviously there's a lot of rivers area on the Old Sturbridge Village property. So the currently proposed would bring it up to 3.5 acres of proposed disturbance, which is still under the 10% allowable disturbance of the riverfront area on the Old Sturbridge Village property.
What about at the end of the pond, right down next to the mill? That was all redone.
Well, so part of, and I didn't include it in the overall calculations, but the town of Sturbridge, the dam removal project, actually called for the replacement of over 560,000 square feet of rivers area.
But it was on the village property.
So that would be replacement by removing the dam. Basically, it was the pond if they're removing the dam.
But it was leaking. No, I'm not talking about the dam Hammett Brook. I'm talking about right in downtown Sturbridge Village. You know where the sawmill is?
So you're not talking about the same dam removal project?
Oh,
Okay,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
The pond was leaking. And so they had to come in and redo that whole sluway or whatever you want to call it. And you don't have any information on that?
No. Apparently, it wasn't either a...
Brad?
So there was, there was a dam repair project. Actually, it goes back to quite a ways. It was project 300-896, and it was closed out based on the DEP website. It was called the Old Sturbridge Village Dam Repair, and it listed 0 as rivers area disturbance. So it would be number 2 on the list that we.
It would be zero, how would it be zero?
It listed on the DEP website summarizing the notice of intents that it was 0 rivers area disturbance.
Okay, is there anything on that you can bring up so we can see that it was zero?
Sure.
Yeah, I think you know what you're talking about. I think Brad mentioned something like that. It's in front of the grist mill and the
Yeah,
cotton mill
right,
in that
yeah.
area, yeah.
That whole area was redone.
Yeah.
Talking about areas that are being impacted, that would be one.
So this is what we print from the Wetlands Project information from DEP website. If you go down and then go on to the second page, it lists the disturbances.
know if that's what was proposed or what was approved.
That's what was proposed.
I'll get that to you. Is
Like
for
a
you.
person with receipts. Thank you. I like a person who has receipts.
It took a while to put all this together. They said they gave us our list, and each one of them has that information on the DEP website.
All right, so where do you want to go from here as far as,
Do we have a stormwater report? Is that something else?
So,
This does not trigger stormwater, but we have some proposed protections.
which is actually the second comment from DEP was about stormwater. They wanted a stormwater checklist, calculation, summary, operation, and maintenance plan. It really doesn't trigger stormwater, but we did prepare the checklist and show what we meet kind of by default and why we didn't need it for other portions of it. We did submit the that and the calculation summary to give some details and an operation and maintenance plan. This being the upgrades for the barn improvements. Not a lot of operation and maintenance, other than making sure there's not continued washouts and so forth. Then number 3 was a fee. Not sure how it happened, but it got entered as a single-family house, so the fee was less. We have submitted an additional fee to the town and to DEP through their lockbox to correct that amount. You had actually, your comments was that the trees were to be marked out in the field prior to removal. If and when you approve the plan, that has been done, and there was also a planting plan submitted for the area where they're relocating the composting.
we're talking about an $800 deposit?
The extra fee? Is that what you're referring
No,
to?
for security deposit is what's proposed.
Security deposit?
Oh, in the operation and maintenance plan? Some towns request that. If that's something that you've done for other projects, then they, we'd have to make arrangements for that.
Surprised that it was as low as $800.
Based off the amount of disturbance, and it's outside of the 100, and it's uphill. As far as what the applicant provided updated, the only thing I haven't gone back on was cross-checking all of the previous DEP file numbers and looking at the impacts. We received that report on Tuesday via email and on Wednesday, so that's the only thing I have not been able to confirm. Other than that, with the projects itself, I did not have any concerns. We have a replanting plan as well. And it seems that we are making efforts to try and close out some of those other projects, and I will get on the town as far as closing out some of the ones that we had initiated.
Well, this, kind of a side thing we're bringing up, actually, for this project. Barely, barely impacts the wetland.
Plus the improvements of relocating the
Compost.
composting area away in a different watershed than the stream in that area, which would be a very good improvement.
Probably don't need to ask this because you've been so thorough, but just to confirm, you've read through the conditions that the agent put into the detailed agenda. Is there anything in her conditions that you have any concerns with?
No, sir.
No other questions?
I'm good.
I have no problem. I have a motion? Oh, in the audience. Anybody in the audience want to speak to this? Are you sure? Old Sturbridge Village is giving you a hard time ever. This is the time to get it.
Appreciate that.
So with regards to DEP file number 300-1211, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I second that.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ned Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 1 Old Sturbridge Village Road, DP file number 300-1211, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the agent's recommended stipulations as laid out in the detailed agenda.
I second that.
Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor.
Roy Bishop in favor?
St. Germain in favor?
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor. Thank you very much.
With regards to the project at 1 Old Sturbridge Village Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the additional condition of a $800 security bond or deposit of money, which shall be provided before the start of work and released upon issuance of a certificate of compliance.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
German in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ed Goodwin in favor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks.
When that's prepared, do you want to pick it up in person, or do you want to have it mailed?
You can mail it, that's fine. That'll be okay.
It's sent certified.
Yeah, now just pick it up.
Okay.
I'm not far.
I'll reach out when it's ready.
Yeah, that's fine. And as far as the other project, if there's something you don't have, I may have it,
Okay.
okay? Because I even have printed all of the emails back and forth. I have absolutely everything. It's a huge folder.
Great.
So whatever you don't have, I can provide for you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
We are now at 188 Shepherd Road, notice of intent. Renovations and additions to a single-family home, DEP file number 300-1215. Mark, how you doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. Can we change the title on this without getting into trouble? Because it's no longer renovations and additions.
Reconstruction.
Reconstruction?
Well, he changed it from that to, he
So-
changed it after the first hearing, so.
So then the DEP final would have to be changed.
So when I
to-
originally filed it, I've been talking to them for a while about this project, and they were originally just gonna renovate the house.
No, I know, yeah.
And then what happened is when they got into all the renovations, they got recommendations to take it down to the foundation and to rebuild it.
Right.
So that's why I refiled it with, updated the NOI with the state, and the plan is to reflect that.
You know, the title doesn't reflect it.
you
I
just
missed
left
that?
That's fine, that's just how it was for the
What?
first, that's
It's
how it
just
was
how
for
it
the
was.
first hearing. Yes, but DEP is aware of the change.
And they're okay with it.
They issued the DEP number with comments. But they knew that the change was coming prior to even the last hearing, so they held off on issuing the DEP number. The applicant has been communicating with DEP as have I, so they've been aware of what's going on.
All right? Go ahead.
So basically, this is the footprint of the existing house, this dark black line. With this little bump out, this is a greenhouse. So what they're proposing to do is to take that down and then add a little bump out, a foundation right here. On the front porch, right here, a foundation, bump that out. And this is the garage over here, and they're gonna bump that foundation out. So there'd be a slight expansion in the footprint. This is the 50-foot offset from the wetland that's up here. So they're not, the existing building is not in the 25-foot no build, and neither, it won't be afterwards as well. And all the additions are over 50 feet from the edge of the wetland. So what I did is I hatched where the dots are. That would be the final footprint of the proposed house.
The greenhouse is gone?
Greenhouse is gonna be gone. I don't know if it's greenhouse or just kind of a sunroom type thing.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is use the existing well here, and then the sewer line. There's a lot of ledge in this. This is just basically an outcropping of ledge that runs here. And so the septic now runs all the way down to kind of where the fields are below the horse paddocks. And so we're gonna continue to do that because the well has a 100-foot, they need a new septic system, but a 100-foot radius would be around here, and it's just all ledge. So we're just gonna continue to run it down there and put a new tank in. And all of this work is outside of the, any resource area. It's over 200 feet from the wetland area.
How close is it to the river?
It's over 200 feet.
But steepness would require 500 feet.
What's that?
It's 500 feet if the steepness is over, what, 12%?
8%.
Over 8.
Well, it does drop over here, and you probably do have more than a 12% grade. So it's outside the 200-foot state riparian zone, but
Okay, I wasn't playing gotcha, I just was curious as to.
yeah, I mean, I looked at it, and it's definitely over 200 feet, but it's probably not 500 feet.
Yeah.
Because what happens, this land kind of, where all this stuff is up in here is call it a little plateau. It's reasonably level. And then it kind of drops off down, and then it kind of levels off where the Grand Truck is, and then it kind of slopes back down to the river.
Okay. Lauren, you got anything for us?
For the purpose of discussion, I have spoken with the applicant, but for the commission as far as alternatives, since this is a over 13-acre site and the structure is being taken down and still will remain within the 50, but the foundation is remaining. So, in my opinion, with a ledgy site the way that this is, it would not be productive or beneficial to try and completely move the house out of the 50, doing additional disturbance on that foundation that's within the 50, then having to bring it back even more. So while it is a large site and the footprint is expanding by the 500 square feet, in my opinion, I don't recommend trying to move this out of the 50. If the foundation were being removed and we were starting from scratch, I would think that would be having a bit of a different discussion.
And Carson will tell you that it's grandfathered.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is.
That's not a word in conservation, unfortunately.
The possible
legally-
remedy could be worse than the cure.
You can put this little locus up there, that just gives them an idea. It's all pasture, the rest of the land is kind of pasture or other horse barns, paddocks.
Did they have to blast to build the house in the first
I don't
place?
know.
I would assume they
I don't
did.
think they probably did because it just looks natural
They worked
here.
with
And
it.
you can see outcroppings of the ledge you go in here. So I would doubt it. I'm not sure when the house was built, probably. I thought it'd been there since like the 50s or earlier, but I think now it probably was the 60s or
I think it was
early 70s.
early 70s, but
Early
I don't,
70s,
but
yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Is the
Foundation's all good inside?
Excuse me?
Foundation all good inside? It's not
Yeah, a lot of
leaking?
it's on a slab.
Yeah.
because of the-
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Mark, did you read through the agent's conditions in the detailed agenda? Do you or your applicant agree to all of
Excuse
them? Did you read through the requirements or conditions as laid out in the detailed agenda? Do you have any concerns with what was laid out in there?
I didn't read through it, I'm sorry.
Okay. It was in reference to snow storage, the tree.
Oh, yeah,
the
no,
tree
that would be,
removal,
yeah, no, I'm sure those are all standard things, there'd be no problem.
Mostly standard stuff. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that there wasn't any concerns from your perspective.
Good.
I'd make a blanket motion to just approve them all.
Anybody else have anything?
I
Audience?
didn't realize those were negotiables.
No, they're probably not, but I'd like to get your acknowledgement. Hearing no public comments, I'd like to make a motion
Well, I
to,
just want to make sure the audience.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on DEP file number 1215.
Second that.
No, you're all set? Okay, all right. Second? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor?
San Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 188 Shepherd Road, DEP file number 300-1215, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project with the agent's recommended conditions as laid out in the detailed agenda.
I second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
San Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor.
With regards to the project at 188 Shepherd Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve the project under the Sturbridge Wetland Bylaw with the conditions already agreed to as part of the Wetland Protection Act, and also additional conditions about the use of pesticides, no rock salt, and a security bond or deposit of money in the amount of $4,000 to be provided before the start of work and released upon issuance of a certificate of compliance.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
San Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
If you bring the dogs, we'll make it quicker the next time.
I thought about bringing her. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are now at 469A Main Street. Notice of intent, construction of a new gravel trail and pedestrian walking bridge. DEP file number 300-1212. All right, and we have been requested to continue this.
Correct.
Say, in the absence of Tommy, I don't think that we're going to have anything
I
tonight.
tell you, Brendan slipped out of town, too.
Oh, goodness gracious, how do you allow that?
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't.
that being the case, did they ask for a specific meeting for the continuance too?
November 14th.
November 14th. So with regards to DEP file number 300-1212, I'd like to make a motion to continue the public hearing until November 14th.
I second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
San Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. All right. So we are now on to additional wetland decisions. We're on to
Mr. Chair?
158 Lake Road.
Could I just make a recommendation or a request? You're probably here to ask some questions? Or you're just here to listen? Oh, okay. I was just wondering why you were here. So, if you had something to discuss before we went through all of the procedural stuff.
We've
so.
done that. We've had somebody sit in the audience the whole meeting and then have one small question at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks for coming.
All right. So I'll say it again. Additional wetland decisions. We are at 158 Lake Road. A request for a certificate of compliance.
This project was a bunch of tree removal with tree replacement. We just got the report back from the arborist. I still need to review and do another site visit, so my request is to table this to the next meeting.
All right. Next, 149 Arnold Road. Request for a certificate of compliance.
Arnold Road was construction of a barn. I had no issues with the site. Everything is stable. It is about a foot further back away from the resource area than it was originally proposed, so I would assume they kind of hit something when they were digging for it, but no concerns. Recommendation is to issue a certificate of compliance with perpetual conditions 45, 46, and 47.
Now, this wasn't inclusive of the clearing on the, for the grapevines on the other side of the street?
No, that was a whole separate one.
Different,
Correct.
different,
It's a separate
Separate project.
application.
okay. All right.
Separate applicant too, by the way.
What?
Separate applicant.
Okay, yep.
With regards to the project, 149 Arnold Road, SEC file number 23-54, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance with the perpetual conditions of 45, 46, and 47.
I second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
San Germain in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. All right. 57 Karen Road, request for a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1121.
I'll let you lead on this one. Retaining wall repair.
First one here, 1121, is for a retaining wall repair. The application, for those people sitting on the board, new people. This was for a shoreline wall that actually did have a boat notch with a house, with a boathouse on top. I don't think
Grandfather then.
I don't think you were on the board yet. There was some repointing that was needed along the wall. I was the administrative assistant at the time. I never visited the site. Eric probably visited the site. Ed probably visited the site. I did not. So we received a certificate of compliance request. I went out and I did a site visit. The wall was repaired. There was some small confusion about existing conditions on the plan versus what the as-built drawing showed, but in review of some old photographs and reviewing the file, there was a permanent deck structure that was on the east. If I was looking at the house, it's on the left-hand side of the property, facing from the lakeside. It was in disrepair. It had been repaired. It was omitted from the original site plan, but was shown on the as-built drawing. That is a picture of the boathouse with the repairs that they did along the pointing of the wall. That is a picture of the cantilever deck that has been repaired. There was an older structure. I found a picture of it inside of the file. And that is just a picture of the walkway that leads up to the wall. Awkward, sideways. Yeah. Everyone remembers.
I do remember this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are there perpetual conditions for this one?
Yeah, 33, 34, and 35?
Hey, I'd recommend you
Recommend?
approve with conditions.
Right.
Perpetual conditions.
Can wait for Florida to come back.
Oh, true.
Well, yeah. With regards to the project at 57 Karen Road, I'd like to make a motion to approve the certificate of compliance for DEP file number 300-1121 with the perpetual conditions of 33, 34,
Oh, I thought it
and
was
35.
10, I thought we were talking about 1097.
No, first is 1121.
1121?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
I second that.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodman in favor.
Okay, in regards to the following, number 9, 57 Karen Road request for certificate of compliance. This is an additional DEP file number. They came before the board to get an addition to the home. There were some other modifications to the walkways and site. The work was never completed, so therefore this order of conditions is expired, invalid, and I would recommend issuing that certificate of compliance as such.
Was it ever started?
Work was never started.
Started?
Never started.
Nothing.
No touch, didn't touch any of it.
So we're making a motion to issue an invalid
Correct.
order of condition?
Invalid certificate of compliance because work was never,
Okay. With regards to the
Issue a
project?
certificate of compliance under an invalid order of conditions, because the work wasn't done.
All right. So with regards to the project at 57 Karen Road, DEP file number 300-1097, I'd like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance under an invalid order of conditions for work that was never done.
I second that.
It's a word salad right there.
Is the applicant aware that this is happening?
Yes.
the home is under in a real estate transaction, and that's how these orders were,
Okay,
discovered
all right.
and worked on.
They wrote the check, so I hope they're aware.
All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
Ned Goodman in favor. We are now at 30 River Road.
Oh, boy.
30 River Road is a request for a certificate of compliance for the vegetation management plan. As you're aware, the applicant came before the commission 2 months in a row to request a extension. Both requests were denied, so they are requesting a certificate of compliance and will come back with a new notice of intent if they wish to proceed.
So there was a question around the annual reports that were supposed to be supplied when they were asking for the extension. So were the annual reports supplied to your satisfaction? Were all the conditions met to your satisfaction at this point where we can close this out and issue a complete
After
certificate
a
of
lot of
compliance?
digging and email sorting and whatnot, yes.
Okay.
My question on it is do we have an as-built plan for 30 River Road?
They don't need an as-built plan for vegetation management.
This isn't for the,
We still have an open plan with them.
this is not for that part, though.
This is not, well, this is just
only
for
for the
just for
veg
the pond, yeah.
management discussion that we had at the last two
This
meetings.
is just for the pond treatment, no other part of the site.
Well, what about drainage systems going directly into the lake that they were going to correct?
That's not part of this project. That's part of another project.
Okay,
Litigation.
can we note that within this when we make
the
our
letter?
decision? Yeah,
To them or to DEP?
to them. I mean,
They're aware that there's an open order, it's in litigation. Just, who do you want me to communicate and what exactly do you want me to communicate
I
and to
want to
who?
communicate the fact that this is just vegetation management.
Yeah, that's
and
what,
that there's still
that's
an open order
associated
of
with the order, with,
It's
yes.
still an open order of conditions.
That's implied with the file number.
It's a different file number.
It's implied, I'd like to state the other file number in the, paperwork, so we have it. Tell them,
I can
this
put it
is
in the
not,
cover letter, just,
okay, fine,
okay.
yeah.
Although I'd rather not approve this, we need to be acting in good faith since we're under litigation. So I would like to make a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 300-1019 with no perpetual conditions.
Second that.
Aha. Nice job, Ed.
I was gonna send somebody out there. Somebody was dying out there.
I know.
All right, we're now at 14.
I think we
Wait
need
a
to-
minute, we
just need a vote.
need an official
Motion,
vote.
did you second? Right?
Ed,
Yeah. So we just need a vote. Eric Gaspar in favor?
Ford Bishop in favor?
Carsten Stüber in favor?
Such a money favor.
And Ed Gooder in favor. We are now at 14 Cedar Lake Drive, request for a certificate of compliance, DEP file number 300-1151.
This project was for a construction of a new garage. Through the order of conditions, it said that it needed an as-built plan. When they dropped off the request for a certificate of compliance, they provided us with a plot plan that does not show the as-built conditions, so we've asked them to hire an engineer and get an as-built plan. They are currently working on that, so my request is to table this item.
Okay, table. Great. Any enforcement orders you want to talk about?
Not right now.
Old business?
Before we move on, it's been a while since we got an update on all the open ones. Would it be possible to, because next meeting is our last meeting of the year, or do we have one more? We have
2 more.
2 more. So maybe for not the next meeting, but the last
Absolutely.
meeting of the year, just have an accounting of all the open enforcement orders and where we
Absolutely,
stand
and I
with
can
them.
send that to you in advance, so if you have any questions on them, you can have those prepared for the meeting.
That'd be great. Yeah, okay, thank you.
Administrative decisions, we have the minutes of September 12th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of September 12th, 2024.
Have a second on that.
I abstain, I wasn't there.
Second.
Any
I
discussion?
did do the video.
All right. All in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop abstain.
Such a money in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor?
Ned Goodwin in favor.
Do we need to put on the record that he submitted a Mullen form for that meeting?
Yeah, but I have it in there, but
Yep.
he abstained, so that's okay.
No, but just in general.
Yeah.
Conservation lands, anything?
Oh, there's another set of minutes. October 3rd as well.
Yep. It's not on the agenda, but you did send it
Yeah, you
out.
send it.
On my agenda.
You did send it out. On the
those are the ones
detailed
that-
agenda, it's not on,
We can make them, we can.
Yeah.
but you did send it out, and I did review it.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of October 3rd, 2024.
Second that.
Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Eric Gaspar in favor?
Roy Bishop in favor.
Carsten Stuber in favor.
And Ed Goodwin in favor. Conservation lands, anything on conservation lands? Going once, going twice. Administrative updates?
So we have, there has been a change to the open space and recreation plan forum date. It is now going to be on December 10th. All of that is active. We've issued press releases. The flyers are being issued and distributed to various parties and hung, as well as the flyer for the photo contest. We are currently collecting submissions of all ages for the photo contest, open to Sturbridge residents and businesses. So please share those and get the word out. I've been going kind of business to business lately too, trying to get some additional
What was the date of the
publication.
forum?
December 2nd. We are also open for applications for the Young Conservationist Award. I spoke with the superintendent of the school, who's going to spread some information as well to the students and the teachers there.
What grades are eligible for that?
Juniors and seniors right now. We'll
Should
see if this
we-
goes on, we'll kind of see where it goes and see if we can expand upon it, but
Should we get that to like the Boy Scout, Girl Scout troops as well? It'd probably be a good place to look for applicants.
absolutely. I forwarded to the flyer to a bunch of people in my contacts, but if.
I have a connection at
Yeah, so-
Troop 161. I don't have any
Okay.
connections in the Girl Scout group, so
Okay.
if you can email me
I
the
probably
flyer,
will
I can
have
I can cover the Boy Scouts.
That would be great. What
I
else?
had to guess they could probably find somebody on the Girl Scout side as well, but
That would be fantastic. We received a request for a superseding order of conditions, aka an appeal from the Podunk and Putnam transmission lines, because National Grid did not like the stipulation on cleaning the tile, the ceiling shingles, and the asbestos removal that was part of that project, or part of that property. It was made very clear during the hearings that Par Corp was gonna take on that responsibility, but in my opinion, the
Site
order.
visits was made clear.
Under my opinion, it's for the project, not necessarily just for what National Grid does, so I don't care who does it, just it needed to get done, but either way, they appealed. I don't know if the select board has been made aware, the town administrator has been aware, we sent the appeal to, town council as well, and the town planner is holding off on accepting any applications on the scenic road permit until this is resolved, which who knows how long that could be. DEP has already contacted me about trying to do a site visit to observe the area in the next few weeks, working out schedules. But I'm not sure how this is going to unravel. I spoke with Christopher Nolan from Par Corp, who's representing the solar field, who was obviously not very pleased about it either because it kind of puts a hold up on his property or his project. So, and since this project was also approved under the Sturbridge wetland bylaw, there's a chance that any appeal also has to go to Supreme Court. So when all that is said and done, over just going out there and cleaning up a pile of shingles that have asbestos,
They don't want to do it, no one.
they don't want to clean this, they don't want to, National Grid doesn't want to be the one responsible for cleaning up the asbestos shingles, even though it's within the parameter of their project and it was made clear of, who was going to do it, but the order of conditions follows with the property, not the person, so I don't know what's going to happen next. It would be great if they come to an agreement that, they work out a contract with Par Corp or whoever and drop the appeal, but
Doesn't it cost more to appeal it than?
Oh, absolutely. And it's gonna
Oh,
put
no,
another,
if they've looked at it.
another
it
year
could
on
be
this
tremendously
timeline.
expensive.
Well, that's my concern. Somebody put eyes on that thing and realized it's a lot worse than we think.
Yeah.
That's what yeah, thank you for saying it, yeah.
So,
Okay, so we have to insist.
I would say yes. yeah.
Absolutely.
we'll
They're
see,
not
we'll see what
grandfathered.
happens. I'll keep you updated with anything, on that. And, when they do the site visit, I'll send an email once the site visit's been confirmed, if anyone wants to join us, but,
Yeah, let me know.
okay.
If I had a dog, I'd take him up there for a walk, but don't have one.
Borrow one of Mark's.
Yeah. That'd be good. Carol would be real happy if I brought him a dog.
We will be having,
Carly for a couple of days.
see, there you go.
She'd really like that.
Yeah.
Carly's a jumper.
She would like her.
Flora has a small dog.
Yeah.
So you can borrow that one if that's your size. We have a 5 to 6 new hearings for the next meeting. One project that might be on this, on the next agenda is for the proposed convenient MD at 216 and 226 Charlton Road, across from Cracker Barrel. So I know that there was a project that was brought before the boards previously for Minute Clinic, or a Ready Med plus a Starbucks. It's now just Convenient MD that's moving forward. We reviewed a preliminary plan at our land use meeting last week, so all the department heads were able to provide some feedback, and I had already met with the applicant prior to that, and so far they've met every request that I have had. But that's a project that we'll look forward to having. I did say that if they're gonna be, they're trying to get their applications and everything in order for the next meeting, and if we do have that, because there are existing houses on those 2 lots, and this is gonna be part of a demo, I told them that part of the site visit is everything has to be staked out, and I know that's going to be challenging with things already there, so they're gonna try and do that to the best of their ability to give you all a clear picture of what's actually gonna be proposed with that project. We have a lot of trail walks coming out. Department of Fish and Wildlife wants to walk Lead Mine. Opakam wants to walk Plimpton. And then in addition to that, we are, since we're updating the open space plan, and I'm responsible for some of the conservation management chapters, we're doing some more review of those sites. So I have a lot of trail hikes coming up in the next month. So if anyone is looking for an excuse to get some exercise and wants to see some of these sites, I can provide you with some updates on when I'm going out for each of those to kind of get some baseline information and figure out where we are with some of these properties that range in size from a couple 100 acres to, half acre, quarter acre lots here and there, but trying to inventory them. We have, decent record keeping over the last few years, but really just trying to fill in the gaps in any properties that may have been acquired over the last few years that might not have been updated, any parcels that may have just been forgotten about and not reviewed, either because they don't really have any major function or use, or that they're just too small. So that's something that I've been working on trying to update.
Open space always has a function.
Open
Put that
space,
in
so
your-
yes, it
Okay.
always has a function.
All right, just so you know.
It always has a role.
What?
Say it always has a role,
Right.
but as far as its use, I guess would be a better
It has a use.
clarifying the
It has
use.
a use.
Clarifying the use, whether it's for stormwater detention or open space, just
Wildlife.
carbon reduction, wildlife habitat. We do have a few parcels that are under our custody that are essentially just for stormwater. So it'll be interesting to go out to some of those and see how they're being maintained and actually
There's one near you, right?
supposed to. Sorry?
There's one right near you.
Yes. Further up the street that I've always been curious about, so I'm kind of excited to go poke around on that one too. That one's actually listed as for stormwater retention,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense in that area. But other than that, we've been very busy with trying to get a grasp on those, taking advantage of the fact that it was not necessarily a slow past few weeks, but not having any new applications did kind of give a breakup to allow us to take care of some other tasks, following up on some expired orders of conditions, doing some house cleaning, just taking care of some things that got lost of trying to reach back out to people that we haven't heard from in a while, so. Big fan of having a little bit of a downtime, and hopefully we get a little bit more of that with the upcoming seasons. That's all I have to report.
That's it? Roy, you want to close the meeting now?
Oh,
Do we want to
wait,
set a site visit date?
site visit.
My recommendations are, well, for my availability are either Monday, November 4th, the afternoon of Tuesday the 5th, or any point on Tuesday the 12th.
I can't do the 4th.
I cannot do the 12th.
I can't do Tuesdays.
Tuesday's our grandson.
So we don't have grant, but we,
So the 5th? What time on the 5th?
no, I don't have, no, that's a Tuesday, I can't.
Oh, you can't? What's the next one?
There was one Monday and 2 Tuesdays.
You can't do Wednesdays?
I don't have any Wednesdays available before this meet.
Well,
before next meeting.
We do the
okay, the
11th.
non-4th Monday. What's the
That's a
other?
holiday.
what's the
Yeah,
other
it's a holiday.
Veterans Day.
What is it?
It's Veterans Day.
November 11th.
11th?
Yeah,
It's
Can't do
Veterans
that day.
we cannot do that day.
Okay. So, okay. Yeah.
Eric?
The 5th is election day.
I'm pretty flexible, other than the 1st.
5th is probably optimal for me.
So it looks like you might have the majority if you did the 5th.
The afternoon of the 5th.
And then you can all go voting.
Yeah.
I mean,
It forces
Carson,
you
if
to
you
come.
can't make the site visits, you can also go, we can give you the places and you can go anytime.
Why can't we
Let
do the
them go.
afternoon of the 5th?
Because I teach. What,
Oh.
what time? The 5th afternoon?
When do you get through teaching?
No, yeah, that's my question. So I won't be able to be back before 3:34.
I would probably say like 1.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be a
Probably gonna
lot
take
of
2 or 3
projects.
hours.
Did you say the afternoon of the 5th?
The afternoon of the 5th.
Afternoons are difficult. Let me see.
Doesn't anybody have to protect our election?
Monday the 4th, I have completely open. Tuesday the 12th, I have completely open. Tuesday the 5th, I only have the afternoon.
The 4th is good.
You seem to be a Tuesday person.
Yeah.
There's no ed on Monday, the 4th, but if we have everyone else, I can set a schedule up for ed to go separately, or if there's just certain sites that he wants to go to.
No, it's fine. Ed should go.
I mean, 2 of them will be places that he's been.
How many
Yeah.
site visits do we have?
There's probably
5
gonna
or
be
6.
6.
6?
Yeah, 5 or 6, and
Yeah.
yeah,
None this time?
as
and
Erin
6?
just said, Ed, you've been to 2 of those 6. So
So have
if
you,
Monday
Eric.
the 4th works for Eric and Floor and Karsten and maybe Roy, Ed, we can set you up to, for any of the other ones, you can let me know what today's good for you, and we can set you a separate route. And I can let all the applicants know.
Yeah, I've got, you can go ahead and schedule it. I've got an appointment on the 4th. I don't know what time it is. It's gonna take a lot of time
Ask her.
when I do it.
Is it gonna be the morning?
I mean, Monday the 4th, I can do morning or afternoon.
I can't do the afternoon, so
Start in the morning.
I have a hard stop at 11:30. So if we can start at 8:30,
Got it.
that's okay.
8:30 Monday the 4th, and then Ed, once we have all those projects confirmed, I'll send you the list and the plans, and if there's any that you want to go see,
Yep.
let me know, and I can coordinate
Okay.
with the property owners or project managers.
Not a problem. Right?
So,
I think it's Roy's
Take
turn.
us home.
Make a motion to
officially, we
adjourn.
actually don't have a grandfather,
What? Yeah,
but we treat it as if.
there is
Yeah.
grandfather.
They're not ready to vote yet, I guess.
What?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Say aye.
Aye.
All right.
I already voted, otherwise.